Hi, Top Nation. Social media commentator Pemphero Mphande posted a lengthy and controversial piece on Facebook where he passionately sided with Iran and Palestine in the ongoing Middle East conflict. He called Israel a terrorist state and accused the West of imperialism, and even dismissed groups like Hamas and Hezbollah that they are not terrorists and rather resistance fighters. Okay, he claims that the modern state of Israel was a colonial creation, said that Muslims were even peaceful until they were provoked by the West in the 20th century, and even questioned why Iran shouldn't be allowed to have nuclear weapons. He even went as far as saying the Jews don't even deserve a state of their own, and that African support for Israel is nothing but brainwashing. I wonder why he feels so entitled himself that he's not brainwashed. But is his view really grounded in facts, or is just propaganda dressed as Pan-Africanism? In this video, I'm going to launch a scathing attack. I'm going to break down what he got wrong, what history really says, because I am also a history nerd, and why siding with radical regimes is not really the moral high ground. Now, let's get into it.
הלך סורוקה, בראש שלי אמא שלי הלך סורוקה.
תראו את כולם רצים, תראו את האנשים, תראו את האנשים. תראו, פה נפל הטיל.
Pemphero Mphande claims that he's a student of history and that he is the best historian in Africa, the most informed historian in Africa. As much as arrogant as that sounds, I think I am actually outsmarting him on some of his viewpoints. Top Nation, today I'll show you why his narrative is flawed, misleading, and outright dismissive of facts. Let's talk about the real history, the real danger of Iran's ambitions, and why moral clarity really matters in global politics. This is my take on global politics. I think as much as he claims that he's a student of history, I think he has gotten a very flawed history lesson. Mr. Mphande literally paints the creation of Israel as some colonial conspiracy by Britain and America. And yet, let's be honest, that's only one part of the story. Of course, these nations helped create the state of Israel. But Jews have lived in this region for thousands of years, long before Islam, long before colonialism. The Zionist movement, as legitimate as it sounds, wasn't even about imperialism. It was about survival. Jews were persecuted in Europe, and after the Holocaust, Jews had nowhere to go. They needed their homeland. And they didn't return to any random place. They returned to historic Israel. Pemphero Mphande ignores that the UN offered a two-state solution in 1947, which was outright rejected by the Arab League, not once, but several times. Israel said yes and created its desperately needed homeland. The Arabs said no. That's why we still don't have two states in that area. That's why there is no Palestinian state today. Another big mistake that Pemphero Mphande is doing is cherry-picking history and glorifying terror, labeling terror as resistance. He is literally calling Hamas and Hezbollah as liberation fighters. But let's be clear, they are not groups fighting for peaceful coexistence. They are charters. They explicitly call for the destruction of Israel and for the killing of Jews. This is literally in the Hamas charter. This is literally in the Iranian constitution. I don't know if we can call that resistance. That's terrorism. Calling a spade, that's terrorism. And to glorify it is just morally unacceptable. Palestinian suffering is real, and a lot of Palestinians in Gaza have lost their lives. But that doesn't mean that we have to excuse these terrorist groups who literally deliberately target civilians, and they hide their weapons under human shields. Supporting Palestinian rights, please, should not mean defending jihadist extremism. Pemphero Mphande also argues that Iran should be let to have nuclear weapons, just like the United States and Israel have these weapons. But here's the thing, Mr. Mphande. Iran cannot be trusted with nuclear weapons. Trusting Iran with nuclear weapons is like trusting a madman with nuclear weapons. Iran literally threatens to wipe Israel off the map. And do you understand what that means? That literally means something worse than the Holocaust. That literally means killing more than 10 million people who live in Israel and the West Bank today. The Iranians fund militias across the Middle East. They chant death to Israel. They chant death to America. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, has reported that Iran has been enriching uranium beyond civilian levels. So yes, Mr. Mphande, the threat is real, and Israel is not wrong to act preemptively to defend itself. It didn't need to wait to be attacked. Yes, Israel attacked first, and it was the right thing to do. Ask yourself, would you want a radical regime with a genocidal agenda to have nuclear bombs? If you say yes, then you have already lost the moral argument. Everyone has the right to express themselves. And Mr. Mphande, I honestly respect your right to speak, but I think you have chosen the wrong side of history. You call out colonialism, yet you excuse those who want to wipe out an entire race. Honestly speaking, I choose truth over propaganda in this one. Facts over emotions. And yes, I choose to stand with Israel's right to exist and defend itself. If you want peace in the Middle East, destroying the state of Israel isn't the solution. Yes, there was relatively less conflict in the Middle East before the creation of the state of Israel. But destroying the state of Israel isn't the solution. Making sure that there's peaceful coexistence in the region by signing the treaties that President Trump started in his first term is the solution. This is literally why there is peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia. This is the reason why there is peace between Israel and the states of Bahrain, the states of Jordan. And this is the gateway to prosperity and peace in the region, not terrorist activities, not terrorist intentions, not genocidal intentions that Iran has. If you want peace in the Middle East, Mr. Mphande, it starts by condemning terrorism, not justifying it. Until then, I don't think that I can afford any more confusion. If you found this video interesting, please like and share this video and subscribe for more honest takes on global politics. Now, this was the Afropartisan, and I'll see you in the next video.